During the Brexit debate, I was asked to contribute some animated films to the Leave campaign, and I thought, well, I don't really approve of Brexit, but the the campaign seemed interesting, and I am very protective of the fishing industry and the farming industry, and I thought, well, okay. By the time I'd finished these films, and I also made another one about HS2 not going anywhere, not starting anywhere, and not achieving anything, that it was a vanity project. By the time I finished these films, I had realised I didn't really want to be part of this, and I accepted no money for them, though I did deliver them. And you can see some of the farmers, some of the fishing one here. It's something of great sadness that when Brexit was agreed, one of the casualties was the fishing industry, another casualty was the farming business, and and the HS2 has still gone nowhere and done nothing. Now, I'm not one to crow. Keir Starmer's promise to make Brexit work represents a delicate high-wire act. On the one hand, Labour wants to improve relations with the European Union after years of frosty antagonism, while on the other it remains adamant about not rejoining the single market or the customs union. However, the reality of negotiations, as outlined in leaked EU documents, suggests that Brussels is about to demand significant concessions from the UK, including a surrendering of fishing rights, further destroying the fishing industry. Well, you know, as Keir Starmer has demonstrated with Rachel Reeves, even if he now thinks that, as we learned on Have I Got News for You, Starmer thinks that the decision to cut the winter fuel payments was a mistake. Well, it's done now. He's got to live with the mistakes that he's got to live with the mistakes that he's made, just as the world has to live with Brexit. And, you know, people should think ahead. And I know that's difficult, but it is what we must do. And then we must make the very best of the situation that we've got. We can't spend our time wringing our hands and trying to hope that we can somehow turn the clock back like some strange Harry Potter time machine or something from Doctor Who. We can't turn the clock back. And for Starmer to destroy farmers, just after all the other destruction that they've gone through, destroyed by the EU, then destroyed by Brexit, now destroyed by Starmer, now he's going to do the same thing to fishing. Fishing destroyed by the EU, then destroyed by Brexit, and now destroyed by Starmer, accepting the European Court of Justice jurisdiction, introducing youth mobility schemes. Well, you know, great. European Court of Justice, ECJ jurisdiction, well, we already have that, don't we? Introducing youth mobility schemes, that's what we want. As for surrendering fishing rights, I say, that's just one more stab in the back. I mean, how many more do we need? Each of these demands carries substantial political and economic ramifications. The fishing industry has become a lightning rod for Brexit debate, symbolising sovereignty yet yielding minimal economic impact compared to other sectors. The EU's insistence on maintaining the status quo for European fishermen reflects its vested interest, particularly for nations like France and Belgium. For the UK, the demand is politically explosive. Fishing communities that championed Brexit are unlikely to forgive further concessions, particularly when framed as a continuation of the neo-colonial relationship described by the National Federation of Fishermen's Organisations. The EU's push for ECJ oversight in trade disputes directly challenges Starmer's red lines on sovereignty. And while dynamic alignment on food and agriculture standards could smooth trade, it would force the UK to legislate EU rules domestically, a prospect anathema to Brexit purists and a test of Labour's resolve. Yet it's hard to ignore the economic logic. Businesses like Marks & Spencer have highlighted the crippling impact of Brexit bureaucracy, with post-Brexit paperwork literally requiring warehouses. And a pragmatic approach to ECJ rulings might ease such burdens, but they risk reigniting divisive sovereignty debates. While youth mobility schemes could restore opportunities for young Britons to work and travel across Europe, Starmer's rejection of such proposals, viewing them as through the lens of immigration, is short-sighted. These schemes are not only popular, but they could repair cultural and economic bridges with Europe. Accepting such a scheme would be a low-stakes concession that delivers high-impact goodwill. Stanley Johnson, I spent the 2019 election with him. Stanley Johnson, with his insider's view of Brussels, advocates for selective re-engagement with EU agencies like the European Environmental Agency. His pragmatic stance reflects the possibility of incremental rapprochement without fully reversing Brexit. Yet the broader truth remains: rejoining the EU, though politically distant, feels increasingly inevitable from an economic and global perspective. The UK's diminished global influence and the economic self-harm of Brexit makes rejoining less a matter of if and more a matter of when. And if we don't do it soon, we're going to lose every ounce of influence that we ever had. Starmer's reset requires three painful trade-offs: concessions to fishing, youth mobility, and the ECJ. It will infuriate Brexit hardliners, but it could lay the groundwork for economic stability and closer ties. The Labour Party and the Labour leader must articulate a clear vision of what they want beyond Brexit slogans to convince both the EU and sceptical UK the sceptical UK electorate that his approach will deliver tangible benefits. In the end, the UK may inch closer to Europe over the next few years, whether through technocratic agreements or political necessity. But until the nation reckons with the enduring question of rejoining, Britain risks navigating its future as a middling power, a diminishing power, hamstrung by self-imposed isolation, with no benefits to name.